There's a sound.
What's that?
There's a sound.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I'm sorry?
The restaurant business. It's just.
Sarah, where's the speaker for that? Am I real to the speaker?
Oh, sure.
The mic? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Like it was whispering it. It was like,
There's just
I was like,
lot,
so loud.
Like try retaining it.
No,
It's not easy, you know. It went off them, like minimum wage. The only thing the job too.
I know a guy who's a wouldn't shut his assistant shop. His hours was crazy.
Yeah, they like to kind of,
And then.
like Tim, like, oh, can you just take us through?
6 months, you know.
So we have to do this.
Or your employees and your staff.
And we had two of them.
Yeah.
Like, Tim likes to like, in fact, he's like, for my minutes, he's like, can you just like abbreviate things? I'm like, no one will understand what I'm saying.
So like, I'm going where he
Especially when
is.
you're not a chef yourself, you know, or like there's some owner chef restaurants. They own a restaurant and then they care about it. It's, we're the owner, we have no say in the kitchen at all. We have a kitchen manager.
Good. Beautiful time of year.
Yeah. If they cook. Yeah.
Very nice.
Cozy.
I'm
You guys
wondering
put
if
out
that-
some?
So if there's
Huh?
room to do anything with home.
Do this?
Yeah, right.
Recent.
Kitchen. I was trying to figure out why.
You ever like that one?
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing it so
You ever
far.
play that one?
Certainly.
Yeah, give me something.
Want to have it all even, you're just gonna see.
No.
You know, you're rubbing elbows. That's good.
I don't like the signature. You know, it's not-
That's gotta be the-
Oh,
It's gonna
okay.
distract me all meeting.
Oh,
All right. Yeah.
he's in there.
We're gonna have Jim.
Yeah, it is.
I have to go yell and you'll show you.
It's 6 o'clock.
Okay, this is the September 11th, 2024 meeting of the Village of Millbrook Trustees. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So 23 years ago today, the nation suffered critical losses, thousands of citizens and hundreds of first responders just doing their job to answer the call of duty. And it's a time that we'll never forget. So I think a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, sir, do a roll call
Mayor Coffey,
here.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Here.
Trustee Herzog,
Here.
Trustee Contino,
Here,
Trustee Doro.
Thank you. Okay, Community Day is a week from this Saturday. You all got a copy of this little pamphlet they put together. With activities, I think more details in the schedule is on website, Sarah.
Correct.
Sarah's been working with Buffy and
There's a little committee. Yeah.
is a committee. Okay, fine. So appreciate your participation in that. Hoping for good weather.
Amen.
Minutes, Nicole sent out the minutes from the last meeting. You have a chance to see that? Any corrections or additions required? Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
In a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get mine?
I'm sorry?
Mine?
Those are yours.
The one for the second meeting, August?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes from that meeting?
I'll make a motion.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, the vouchers, if you could go, oh, first, let me just look at the agenda, just as a reminder to the trustees, our next board meeting will be in 2 weeks. It'll be at the Village Hall, 6 PM. It'll be just an executive session for us to interview the top 4 candidates for highway supervisor candidate position. Deputy Mayor and I completed the interviews of the 14 candidates yesterday. We came up with a list of our top candidates. I reviewed it with Trustee Grower today. Made a correction, change to priority, and I've notified all but one of the candidates where they are. I've notified all 4 of the top candidates and invited them to come on the 25th, starting at 6 o'clock. I scheduled them for a half an hour per candidate. Is that sufficient time, trustees? Based on, to be mayor, my experience sounds like it is. If you're okay with that? Okay, so we'll do that at 6 o'clock. 6:30, 7, 7:30. I also have invited each of the 4 to join me at the highway garage next week, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, to meet Jeff and Darren and have a show and tell in terms of what they do, what the equipment is, and for them to have a chance to talk to the candidates. And so I'll have that information together before we have the meeting on Wednesday. All right? Yes.
Darren and Jeff gonna get an opportunity to talk to them, and not an interview necessarily, but get to meet them so they can.
Yeah, that's what I said, that's what I'm doing. That's the purpose
of
of it, yeah. And basically what we'll do is I'll go and introduce them, say some whatever, and then go away and let them talk amongst themselves. And I'll talk to Jeff and Darren after they've seen all 4 of them, just to get their perspectives. All right? That's right. Yeah. But if it changes, let me know, okay? The regular board meeting will be on the 9th of October, and I'll be back here at the firehouse. So as Josh asked, executive sessions we tend to have at the Village Hall, relatively small, and so we'll be there. Regular board meetings we have here at the firehouse. All right. Okay, next, is Deidre here? No, no update from Deidre in Dutchess County. All right, let's go into the fire and rescue report. Don? Oh, wait, what's this? This is the vouchers.
Vouchers.
Sorry. Where did I miss that? There it is.
It's okay.
Okay, here are the vouchers for this month, totaling $207,000. It includes the final bill for the sidewalk project on south of Franklin Avenue, south part of Franklin Avenue. And includes another payment to the pump station down in South Millbrook. They're getting very close to finishing that job, right? I saw them out there this afternoon. Yeah, the pump station in South Millbrook. I think they're working now to do the line conversion to 220.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem
And
with,
then we gotta do the generator stuff.
yeah, all right.
Bill's gonna be delivered for the generator tomorrow.
Was that right? Okay, fine. All right, that's about the end of the project then, right?
Yeah, we just gotta, put the item 4, the guy brought me some item 4.
Yeah.
The other day, so,
And they said they need more, just let us know.
yeah,
Okay. All right, good.
yeah, we'll put that time, if we need more, I'll have to make more.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So we're coming to the end of that project. Okay, any questions about the vouchers? Make a motion to accept the vouchers.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Vouchers are approved. All right, I'm going to Don.
All right. Nothing too crazy. Automatic fire alarms 25, EMS calls 38, one motor vehicle accident, which I'm going to come back to in just a moment. 4 wires down, trees in the roadway. Structure fire 2. One of them was mutual aid going to East Clinton for garage fire. The other one was just a small oven fire, but it filled the house with smoke, and one tank came in as a structure fire, so it's listed as one. Then we had a separate oven fire and one odor of gas call. I just want to go back to that motor vehicle accident. Some of you might be familiar with the one that happened last weekend on Route 343. Take a moment to brag about my guys. They had a thing of both vehicles. Both patients were severely trapped. They had them both out in under 14 minutes, which is a big accomplishment.
Wow.
So I just want to send that out, let you guys know
Nice.
they did a phenomenal job.
It's a terrible accident, fatality, right?
Yes. The other patient, I just talked to one of the family members. They're expecting to make a full recovery. The other
Well, that's
patient,
nice.
so.
That's good to hear. All right, good. I understand they set up some counselors in case you guys.
Yes, we had the county debriefing team come in just to make sure everyone was doing okay afterwards.
For people who responded.
For the responders, NDP's crew from that day was able to come down, which was great. The county just set up a new team for that, and everyone thought it was very well done. So the county has picked a great person to lead it. It's Melissa Lawler out of Pleasant Valley.
Okay.
She's a longtime member there, and her husband owns Nuts Auto Towing.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, just, thank you to the volunteers that, as usual, respond in a timely manner. So good job. Thanks a lot.
thank you. I wasn't able to get the members going to EMS calls total. By the time I was able to get the report, those numbers weren't back to me yet from the county. Mutual aid, the fire department went 3 times. One of them was that structure fire in East Clinton. 2 others were automatic fire alarms. NDP went 4 times. We received a mutual aid once on the fire side for like,
There are multiple calls going on.
yeah, and didn't have to receive any on the EMS side.
All right.
So
Clinton, you don't cover Clinton anymore, right?
no, they
A while ago, you guys had.
we had them covering a little section of Jamison Hill,
Oh, okay.
and they came back and went, we want more money to be responsible for covering it. Now what we did was they're on automatic mutual aid for that zone anyway, and they're doing it for free now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
fine.
instead of us just sending our tanker to back them up,
Mhm.
that we're sending in an engine and a tanker, and they're still coming with an engine.
All right.
Similar thing happened with Dover a few years before that. They sat there and said, we want more money for the liability of covering it. And we went, no, you're asking too much. And they went, okay. And again, they're still going under the pre-planned mutual aid. They're doing it for free.
Okay, great. All right. Very cool.
Other than that, I think that's it. Oh, I forgot to send her the monthly drills. We covered helicopter landing zones last night, and we're going to be doing an extrication drill just to kind of work on what cars we have left at the training grounds at the old dump before the end of the summer.
With that accident, the helicopter landed in the school.
Yes, we actually had 2 coming in. We were able to cancel one coming in, and one landed at the high school.
High school. What about high school?
Parking lot from there.
Parking lot there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just so you know, I got notified, this is for the chief as well. DOT just informed this afternoon that they're going to be closing 82
Oh, they're closed?
between Sandy Lane and West Farm Road on Thorndale.
Okay.
All right. They're going to shut the road down for culvert replacement. You received from Company South Point to replace the culvert at the hill.
Yeah.
But she said, this is the engineer in charge, that she doesn't have a date yet, the next few weeks. She will be an official date when they know that the road will be closed to do, reroute, sorry, signs around.
Yeah.
Sure. Into the village.
This
Yeah,
way I
well.
can let county know, and they'll put it out whenever we get dispatched, so
Okay.
someone misses the message here.
Now, do you tell NDP or should?
Yeah, well-
That's Shady Dillon, West Farm. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's out there, Thorndale.
They told me it's gonna be sometime next year that you do the work.
We
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
the
put
signs are
signs
up
up
there.
there.
There's detour signs up on 4, there's detour signs on 343, there's detour signs down through here. They started putting them up about 2:30 this afternoon.
And there's a big sign in front of Troop K.
And there's a big sign in front of the old bowling alley, and there's a big sign out on Walbridge property over on 343.
All right.
So,
So who told you, what they tell you that they're gonna redo it, not do it till next week?
Well, this isn't village business, but they gotta use my property to do it, so I don't have any information from them, so.
No.
It could be the prep work that they might be doing more prep road work
Mhm.
and a culvert next year, I'm thinking.
No, okay. What she said was the culvert.
Yeah. She said it's over 50 years old or something like that. A lot
Well,
of
good to
it.
me, I don't know, because I don't know culverts.
Me neither.
Although when they put up the hill, coming from Copperfields, looks pretty nice. That's nice. Anyway. Okay, good. Anything else, Chief?
A couple months ago, you asked me about how the grant was going.
Yeah,
Um,
the grant for the fire.
fire training facility. I just talked to the county about that. We're getting an extension work on it,
Oh,
and
good.
we're going to be moving forward.
So an extension for like a year?
Yep, we'll get a 1-year extension.
Okay. Have you spent any of the money yet or not?
No, not yet.
It's $300,000, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're having some difficulties getting the environmental companies to come back to us with a price to tear the building down because before it can go into a dumpster, they have to make sure it doesn't have asbestos, lead.
So they haven't tested it yet?
They haven't tested yet because they won't give us a price for us to do a bid type thing with
I
them.
see. Okay.
So fighting through that right now.
All right. Anything else?
That's all.
no, I was going to follow up what Dominic just said. I actually reached out to, Dominic asked me to reach out to those companies. I put some fingers out to 4 different companies, only one's responded back.
All right.
So I'm going to harp them again tonight. I'll send a couple more emails, try to get a phone number, start calling this week.
And I wonder if the guys doing the park, because they had a lot of asbestos, but they were working there, would there be any contractors there?
There was a company out of Jersey, they would.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
they-
All right.
they were-
There was one company that I did reach out to. They're open 24/7. They're right out in Poughkeepsie, and they were the only ones that came back with a price.
All right.
How much do you think it might be?
Just for them to come out and survey it, they're saying $700, and then for each sample testing, each one that they have to test, it's additional $65 for each of those tests.
So the total job, do you have like an estimate? Because we might have to put it in the paper, depending on how
So
much it
the
costs.
county has a list of at what price we have to
Okay, so they have
put something out.
contractors. Okay.
I think it's like over 5,000 we have to do that.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. Well, if you guys need help with that, let me know.
we'll do it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, good. Matt?
Can't remember if I mentioned this last month, but we're starting up bingo October 4th,
Okay.
run it through March. It's be the first Friday of each month. The only month we're not doing it is December. Because this past meeting, the fire company voted to take on the Parade of Lights,
Good, thank you.
spearheaded by Kelly Thomas.
All right, I'm gonna meet with her next week, her and Peggy, she and Peggy, just go through their plan for the next Wednesday, okay?
That's it.
Golf outing is all,
Right now, we have 20 forces. Village
Oh.
wants to, put another force in. September 23rd, $175 a person.
don't look at me for golf.
It's that small, so it's not like you have to really play good.
Yeah, that's not right.
Step one, get some clubs. I threw away my last one.
Village board, police department,
All right,
Patrick's already playing, so you can't take him.
okay. All right, so what day is that?
September 23rd.
23rd, okay. All right, good. Anything else going on with the fire department? All right, good. All right, thanks. Let's move on to police. Now, Chief, a lot of detail. Can we just look at this? As opposed you're going through each one, can we just walk through this? And
Yeah,
ask some
absolutely.
questions?
117 total calls for service. Most of this is, typical, nothing really unusual here. I think the most unusual was the high altitude balloon that was in the tree. Everybody's aware of that. Outside of that, it's just, pretty routine stuff for the
And of course, it's
officers.
always on Friday night.
Of course.
Anyway, okay.
So if nobody, if you guys want to just take a
Well,
look at that.
I did some questions about it.
Sure.
So foot patrols, I think I talked to you about the need for, ensure that the officers are doing a foot patrol per shift. How's that going?
It seems to be picking up. I think the biggest issue is, what we've been experiencing all along, which is just coverage. I think, now that we're getting closer to bringing more officers in and our numbers are going up as far as coverage goes. Looking back to May, we were covering 28 of 58 shifts. In September, we'll be 37 of 51. So we're getting there.
Okay.
It's improving. And I think by November, when we're closer to full staff, should have pretty close to full coverage, if not full coverage.
All right, fine.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Since we're gonna be talking about it later, would you mind elaborating on the e-bike operator driving recklessly on complaints?
That's on the list up there, right?
Yeah,
So that was an incident that we had a walk-in complaint. It was a resident who came into the PD and wanted to report that he had an encounter with one of the teenagers operating what we now know is an illegal. It's not technically an e-bike; it's an electric motorbike, similar to a gas dirt bike. With street tires, they're illegal outside of as well. We'll get into that later. But Class 3 bikes are illegal in the village. They're illegal anywhere out of New York City. This is not typically a class 5 e-bike because it doesn't have pedals. It works through throttle control, can reach speeds of up to 46 miles per hour. So this youth was riding on Franklin. He was driving recklessly. He went through a red light, cut off a motor vehicle operator. They didn't have an encounter at that point, but the motor vehicle operator went into the deli and the youth came in coincidentally, and they had some words there. Nothing major, and they parted ways. There's no further incident involved, but he was upset, so we wanted to come in and report it to the police. Since then, we've had our officers speak with the youth a couple of times, and he's no longer riding that bike in the village. So this is all a learning experience for all of us with the e-bikes. I think we're making some headway as far as, at least now he won't be around driving in the village. And I think as time goes on, this will improve and we'll get better control of the situation with the e-bikes and other incidents like this that we've been dealing with throughout the summer.
and just, looking at the bikes, if you see no pedals, it's one kind of problem.
Right.
Because all electrified bikes look like e-bikes, but they're not necessarily, so it's good to know.
That's the criteria.
Complain.
If there's no pedals, then it means it's an off-road vehicle.
There's more to it than that. You
Is
have
that
to
right?
really look
It's
at
not illegal e-bike.
Right. An e-bike has to be able to have the ability to be able to be pedaled
Okay.
for muscular propulsion. So without that, this falls into that outside the e-bike category. But the laws are very murky in New York State. So the more I looked into this, what I found is New York State doesn't talk about a lot of this stuff. They establish the laws, but when we get into some of these murky areas, like vehicles that are created or that are manufactured clearly outside the United States, but then transported in and sold, they don't necessarily all have to be sold as e-bikes for people to be able to buy them and use them as e-bikes, and that's kind of where the law gets murky. And I don't think in a lot of cases the owners are aware of this. They purchase it legally and they drive it, and they don't do their own research. They don't know. So for us to educate them and make sure that the vehicles are not on the road anymore.
All right, so we put together a chart based on doing some research with Vicky as well as with Ian.
Do you want me to put that up? Or?
Well, before you go there, you also have conferred upon information from your point of view that you want to share with the police. So how do you want to go forward with this? One thing I wanted to do was just notify the public, here's the do's and don'ts, here's what the criteria is. Just so there's a heads up, because I think a lot of people don't know what the differences are and what's legal, what's not.
Right.
So do you want to take the lead with that and first set from a police point of view, Because I want to get something out to the public.
I agree. I'd like to publish it on our social media page. I don't think we really get the presence that the village does. So if we can, I'm happy to put something out, and I intend to do that. But I think doing it all at once, or at least relatively close to time, you guys are reaching a lot more people.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And I think that would be a good way to get the education material out there, and then we'll follow up with enforcement.
So, yeah, if you could go to that chart, Sarah, I think it's towards the end. So I guess the other question, Chief, is there are laws that New York State has. The question is, do we in the village want to have anything beyond that to further restrict usage or availability, whatever, of these e-bikes and e-scooters?
Looking at the situation and the way the village is set up, I think it would be at least a good idea for the board to consider a local ordinance that would restrict e-bikes in the area of Franklin Avenue between Friendly and Front Street. E-bike operators can't ride on the sidewalks. They have to ride with traffic, but the way as narrow as Franklin is, and with the cars constantly parked on either side of the road, it doesn't leave a safe bike path for bicyclists or e-bike riders. So, I think it would be worthwhile to at least consider prohibiting e-bike riders in that area. There's other ways that they can get around the village, but I think by allowing that, we're putting the bicyclists in danger as well as the motorists. We're almost forcing them to ride on the sidewalk, which is illegal, and then it puts pedestrians in danger. So I'd just like to, present that to the board as an option.
Now, Trustee Doral, you had a concern with that?
I was just thinking, what's the difference between a regular bicycle between Friendly and Front and an e-bike?
I think the main difference is the weight of the bike and the speed. If they go up to 20 miles per hour, which is the top speed limit, plus they're going downhill, so they have gravity to help pick up the speed even more. Plus, we're seeing I think a lot more e-bikes now than we are bicycles. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to consider the bicycles as well. There's really nowhere for them to go safely in that area either.
But Trustee Doral, you also raised the issue of, can we do this on Franklin being it's a state road?
Yeah, it's a question. I don't know.
You'd ask that.
Yeah.
Well, what about that?
And I think that's a good question.
I think the answer might be no.
Then we can't put up our
Remember, we couldn't even change the
speed limit.
speed limit, and it's a conversation
Can we
we could have
enforce
with
on it the speed? We can't even enforce the speed on it, right?
That's,
You must be able to.
no, you can
write
enforce the
tickets, can't
speed, but you couldn't change the limit, and you couldn't, if I recall correctly, there were some signs or something else you wanted to put in the right of way that you couldn't do. I can't remember exactly.
But you may want to take a look at the statute, because we also had this conversation, Tim and I, because the statute is very clear that localities can impose
Right.
restrictions on where you use bikes.
Oh, bicycles, yeah.
E-bikes, speed limit, what people wear, etc. And they're very clear that that's totally within the jurisdiction of the locality. So
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but I think an administrative lawyer.
But I think there's a clarification we need to know is, can we do that in the village but on a state road? Because you're right, it says something to the effect of the village can do more than what the state, says as allowable.
You just can't do less, man.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but can we do it on the state road? Is the question.
That's the question, physically on the state road.
All right, so can you get an answer to us?
I can.
Okay, good.
I think part of that is calling over to the DOT and just to confirm.
Okay.
So I'd like to do that.
All right. So Chief, here's the list that, I think I shared this with you. Nicole, of course, put it in much more professional format here. But these are the list of what we consider to be the restrictions for both operators, passengers, and the vehicles themselves, e-bikes and e-scooters. And so I guess my question to you is, you showed me a couple pages that you pulled out. I'd like you to condense to whatever you think is appropriate. And, you may have one thing for the police that you want to give out. The question is, what should we be publicizing to the residents of the village, just so everyone understands what's allowed and what's not allowed.
I think this list is pretty comprehensive. I don't know if there's too much we have to put out there in addition to this. Some of the laws I put in here were more geared towards the officers. So
Okay.
anything that they encounter, they know they'll have a guide directing them to what section of law that might fall under. I wouldn't want to publish all of this to the public because I think it would become confusing.
Okay.
But I think that's a good list for us.
All right,
to
fine.
go
Well,
over.
then, if no one objects, then I'll figure out with Sarah and Nicole how we can put this on the web. Maybe I'll put it in the newsletter, just to put something out there so people understand, here's what the laws are. All right. And Chief, if there's anything else that you think ought to be added to this, please let me know.
So,
All right. Any questions or comments about that? All right, now if we go back to the chief's list.
Are we on page 2 now?
Let's go to the first one.
Yeah, I have a question. It's if you dead tree at entrance to elementary school, it's something that someone was concerned about a tree, because normally when concerned about a tree, the numbers years back, shade tree.
this was an observation officer that was on patrol.
Was that right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I guess the question is, if it's a village tree, you should know about it. If it's not, then the school board should know about it.
Right.
All right.
So the case would be helpful if you could get that information to me, you know what it is.
Sure.
All right, any other questions about the report? All right, good, let's move on.
So the next section is, falls under investigations. We've handled 5 investigations, 2 are personnel background, personnel, pre-employment investigations. We had 1 fraud, 1 menacing, and 1 criminal mischief. Any questions about any of the investigations?
No.
Moving on to what we have in development, the police department computer system. The sonic firewall was configured by NetEffects. The installation is pending return of the mobile computers, which have been sent out for hardware and software upgrades. They should be back in a week or so. When they come back, we'll schedule with NetEffects to come and do the sonic firewall installation, as well as the network connection and the installation of tracks for the updated mobile computers. Doing some research for the record management system. So far, I've contacted 4 different RMS providers: Mark 43, Central Square, Niche, and Tyler. These are all either vendors that are located in New York or provide records management systems that are used by local agencies in Dutchess County or Westchester County. Mobile computers, as I said, they've been sent out to the vendor for upgrades. The fleet vehicle, 2023 Dodge Charger, the order letter was sent to the vendor to hold the vehicle pending financing approval. The upfit has been identified with the vendors. Graphics are still in design, but it's been turned over to the graphics vendor. We're waiting for that to return. And that is all for in development. Any questions in the
Okay, good, let's go to the bank loan for the resolution for the new vehicle. All right, so this is the chief's request for us to issue a bond for $52,000. All right. As I described last month, this will be something that we'll bond it this year, and the first payment will be due in the next budget. This can't reach the page. Sorry, you see this? Oh.
Yeah, it says there's no internet. I'm working on it.
So you can see the two quotes we got. Bank of Millbrook was the lowest bid of 3.5%. It's a really nice rate. And so we're choosing Bank of Millbrook, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So how do we go through this? What do we need to do to approve this bond?
First thing you have to do is have a look at the proposed resolution to declare yourselves lead agency and to determine no significance under seeker.
And you all have a copy of all this, right?
You should have a copy right in front of you.
Yeah.
So you may recall doing this before. This is a negative declaration. You know, buying the vehicle isn't going to create environmental issues of any kind. It's subject to seeker, so we have to do this.
Mhm.
There's the short form, which is attached to what's in front of you. I don't know if you want to read through everything, but we filled it out for you,
Okay.
so it's ready to go.
Any questions about the secret form? Okay, good.
So then you need a motion, someone has to offer a motion to adopt
All right, just gonna get a motion.
secret resolution.
In a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Mayor Copy,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doro.
Aye.
Trustee Murphy.
Okay.
You know, part of that, what we're saying there is you're gonna sign the EAF, it's the last page, you probably, if you need
Okay.
help with that, let me know, but it's pretty self-explanatory.
There's the original, so I should sign.
You can find that one.
I should sign yours, so when you're filling out.
Yes.
All right, I'll do
Sure.
that. Okay, good.
And now you go to the bond resolution, that's second, so that's in front of you, this is just a resolution authorizing the issuance of the $53,000 serial bonds of the Village of Millbrook, Dutchess County, New York, to pay the costs of the new police department vehicle.
Mhm.
Same thing, we need a motion to adopt.
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mayor Copy,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
and Trustee Doro.
Aye.
Okay, you're good to go there.
Okay, great. Okay, so Chief, what's your next step?
So if the board has approved this, the next step is to contact the vehicle dealer and have him deliver the vehicle. And once he gets here, I'll work with Nicole and Sarah to put the order documents together.
So you need the vehicle here before we actually pay money?
Yeah, well, I think it's always a good idea to have whatever we're purchasing on premise before we pay the vendor.
Okay. All right, fine.
We'll follow your lead, so.
Okay.
All right, good.
So since all of the upfitted equipment has been identified, it's just a matter of contacting the vendor, having him place the order for the equipment. I'm told it'll take anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks, more like 10 or 12. And that, so the vehicle could be here as quick as a week to 4 weeks.
Okay.
If we needed it tomorrow, we could pick it up tomorrow, but, I think we wait, since we're waiting on the upfit equipment to come in anyway, have them deliver it, and then we'll send it over to the upfit vendor to have all the lights and everything installed. When it's done, probably sometime in between, we can have the graphics done. And then I think the vehicle should be on the road sometime in November, December.
Okay. We're gonna auction off the old vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Are you gonna keep all the lights and stuff on it?
We'll strip it out and then sell it. And I mean, they're so old, they really don't hold any value. I'd say we could try and auction them off as surplus. But I just don't think at this point they have any value. But we'll go through it all and see, if there's anything worth retaining.
Okay, good.
We thought the same thing with our old Chiefs vehicle, and we ended up getting 8,000 for it.
For the vehicle or for the equipment?
For the vehicle only.
Okay.
So
I think there's some value in the
Yeah.
vehicle, especially today with the
we
cost of
dealt
those
with
cars.
AAR auctions right in Pleasant Valley, very easy to work with.
Okay,
So,
great.
Yeah, so we
I can
use
send you that.
Thank you, appreciate that.
assets we sold. Yeah.
Good.
That's what we used to sell the dump truck.
Okay, good.
And they got 19,600 for the dump
That's
truck.
great. I think the car should have, even though it's got, decent mileage, it should be worth a few thousand at least.
Yeah. As long as you don't mind, putting your feet on the road through the floor mats to make it stop. Right, that's exactly. Okay.
Those have a new transmission, though, right?
No, that's the new one. That's the newer one. Wait a minute. That is the one we.
Yeah, we put a transmission in it, that's what I thought.
Was it newer, which we worked?
It could be rebuilt. either
Yeah, okay,
way.
that's a good point though. Yeah. All right, and the other thing, Deputy Mayor and I last night interviewed a candidate for a position as part-time police officer based on the recommendation of Chief Dworkin. Very impressive candidate. I think I sent the resume out to the trustees. He knows Sergeant Wood, he knows Buddy Cox. He's bilingual, which is an asset that might be a real attribute to have in the police force. And so we're waiting for the chief's lead in terms of how we proceed. What's your next step here?
So I will complete the background investigation. If everything looks good there, offer him a conditional offer of employment.
Okay.
When that's done, send him out for a drug screen and fingerprints. Everything comes back good, then I'll make a formal recommendation to the board.
Roughly when?
I'd like to get it done before the next board, before the first board meeting in October.
Okay,
It's just going to depend on, as I'm doing the background investigation, how quickly the agencies that I'm contacting get back to me with the information.
Okay,
If
fine.
they're very responsive, then that's the hope that we'll have it done and have ready to present to the board before the October meeting.
all right, good. I was really impressed with the resume and the interview went very well. So we're excited about you making that happen. Okay, any other questions for Chief Larkin? Okay, let's move on. Public Works is next. That's me. We had a storm went through back in August. Got a call for tree blocking by Farm Road, and we kept that cleaning up brush throughout the village. We continue to take all of our brush to the town dump. They haven't complained, and they have a great big pile anyway, so we kind of hide it because we put it up. It's going very well. We appreciate their cooperation. We just completed the fall brush pickup. Actually, was finished yesterday. I want to thank the residents because there were no violations to the restrictions we have in terms of the size of the piles. I talked to a couple of residents beforehand, and they were all very cooperative, I must say. Some of them actually took back part of their piles just to get them inspected, and so it went very smooth. So, good job by the highway guys, and thanks for the cooperation of all the residents. The Maple Avenue Rolling Stone was finished on the 4th. That moved from the end of August, but it was the first day of school. That went successfully well. What they did was, since the buses were coming, across Maple down to Merritt, they started back the turnaround and worked up. So by the time they got down to that area, the buses were done. So great cooperation by Peckham, as well as we had, of course, a lot of help from Joe Spagno in the town of Washington. They provided the big trucks. We had 2 trucks, so they went and got another truck from the town of Armenia, and it was done in 2.5 hours. So it was great job. I just contacted Peckham today to schedule them to come back and vacuum up the loose gravel. They'll do that next Wednesday. So I'll talk to Nicole to get a notice out so people know we don't want to park on Maple Avenue while that's going on. So early on Wednesday morning next week. We had a special meeting by the board and awarded the contract to replace the storm drains along Washington. Race Septic was awarded the contract for $80,000. Tim expects to start late this month, and he says it'll be finished by Thanksgiving, which is a good target given that the blacktop guys close shop right around him. So his outlook is to be able to finish it by then. He's also going to coordinate with Lee Wood regarding the hookup water and sewer. That includes connecting in Trustee Doro, so that'll be all done hopefully before the storm drains go in. They're still watering the trees twice a week. They provide some help to cut a pipe so that the pump station can be lifted up. They can take it off the skid. That's done through general mowing and maintenance of the grounds. Before the oil and stone, we had East Coast Sweeping come and do a sweeping of all the streets. On the 26th, you see the bill on there for $18 million. That happened. We usually do street sweeping twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. So that was the fall run. There were some repair issues and a request from Triple Garms to do some mowing. Any questions about the highway report? Okay, let's move on. Now, Josh, you got to leave. You said 7:50. Should we jump to the public hearing?
Sure, so this is on the,
Oh, okay. We'll show the picture. Show the picture. I think y'all
Okay.
saw this. This was the rig. What Jeff? That's Darren on the right hand side. He's actually riding with the guy who's chopping the gravel. Is like a lookout for the trees and stuff overhead and whether the gravel's going dry underneath. So good teamwork done. And those are the rollers that go after the gravel goes down. Material. Anyway, let's go on to the public hearing for the update proposed by Trustee Coutinho and Mayor Murphy regarding a litter.
so the first thing you have to do is make a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. Give me a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open. All right. Any questions or comments regarding the proposal to update the local law on littering to require that landlords provide trash disposal and pickup for all their residents? Anybody in the audience have a comment about that? Any questions from the board? We talked about this last week, or last month. No. All right, no public hearing comments? Anybody? No? I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Correct.
All those in favor? Okay, public hearing is closed.
You have in your packet, similar to the bond earlier, we're gonna first adopt the resolution of lead agency and no environmental significance. So there's a draft negative declaration in your package and the short form EAF again. Part 2,
Any questions about the EAF?
it's filled out, you have to sign it again. Then you need a motion to adopt that.
So can someone make a motion
I'll make that.
in a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mayor Colby,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog, Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doral.
Okay. Now, at the end of the package is the resolution of adoption. So this is actually adopting the change to the
Attached to
local.
the same package.
Yep, same package. So you need a motion to adopt.
Can you get a motion in a second?
Second.
Mayor Colby,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino, Trustee Doral,
Aye.
and Trustee Murphy. Yep.
That's it.
Done?
Yep. She's gonna put it in the newspaper.
All right, so I'll take care of that.
Yep.
Anything else we need for legal wise?
I just have to get back to you on the e-bike situation, I guess, right, just to
Yep.
clarify that.
Okay, good.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the agenda. Now we're on to water and sewer. Scott?
All right. So on the water side for August, performed all sampling and maintenance. We installed a new hydrant on Elm Drive. New water service line was installed at 3301 Franklin. That's next to the new restaurant. I guess it's
3301, it's across the street.
next to the restaurant.
Next to
Thanks,
the
Jeff.
office.
Isn't the water in the back? It's in the back, yeah.
Oh, I
But
see.
it's not there, the water line for the antique store ran through the restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah, and there's no basement in the antique store.
I see.
So I requested that years ago from the old owner, and they didn't do it.
Huh.
The new owner of the restaurant requested it, so they.
All right, good. No.
Line,
Nice.
so meters go inside there.
All right, good.
So that's the result, that's good. Replaced, 6 curb valves on Washington Avenue.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, we did one more, last week.
All right, great. All right. Any questions about water? All right.
And sewer for August, all maintenance and sampling is completed. A new hose spigot installed outside the blower building. We repaired all 3 of the manholes on Washington Avenue. Had hydromatic sales out at Bennett Pump Station. Pump station went down.
Oh, really?
So, they replaced the transducer. The part was under warranty. Oh, wait, you paid later.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Hmm.
But it was under warranty.
Okay.
That's
How long is the warranty?
a year.
Here? Okay. Kind of a pro Philly though.
It is. But again, we also remember it's set for many months as well. So
Oh, okay.
it's electronic.
All right.
That stuff works. Yes. Earth Care Hall sludge sewer, continues to clean the filter beds, and I had to go security out, check the alarms at the facility, and correct all the misinformation. As the fire department knows, they called at least twice this summer for a fire alarm going off, which we don't have a fire alarm at the sewer plant.
Okay.
So I had all, it was just a blower there. We've had for years, but when they transitioned from CIA security to Doyle, I think that was something that got transferred from all.
Was that right?
They had the wrong address at the water plant as well. So,
No. No problem.
they had a bunch of different things. So I had them come out and they changed all the batteries and all the units while he was there. So we got a bunch of things done.
All right.
Take care of.
Very good. What was the email I just saw today from EPA? Or
Yeah.
to you from EPA? What was that about?
That was, he requested some more information from this inspection so we can do his report.
So that's right. They did an inspection last month. You said, right?
July.
It was July. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the comment you made though about you weren't doing the
I didn't
sibling?
respond because I'm not exactly sure what he's
Okay, fine.
referring to.
Let me know what it is when you find
I
out.
figure I'll just wait to see what the report is and then we can respond.
Okay, fine. All
It
right.
was a bit confusing. You saw, not to get into details, but there's monthly operating reports that I submit to the DEC, and there's also reports that get sent directly to the EPA. Two separate things. I don't understand exactly what he's getting at, but
Okay, fine.
we'll wait to see what the report says, and then we can, respond.
All right, fine. Any questions for Scott regarding the sewer report? Now, on the wastewater, the upgrade, there is an issue that I need the board to weigh in on. So the deal is this: we've got this grant from this WIA grant from EFC, right? And so the plan is that once they approved, accepted, whatever the term is, the grant, then all expenditures will be covered by them, and then they will bill us after it's all done. What happens is we'll spend the $10 million. We also get the WPIP grant, which will add to this. But what happens is we go and do the implementation. They pay for all the bills until the implementation is done, and then they start billing us over 30 years. So upfront, all money's expended and covered by EFC. However, right now, they haven't completed all of the logistics required to officially accept our grant request. So what TMB has asked for us to do is get short-term financing to cover the front-end engineering work, so they can keep that going and get it done before winter. You can go some chewing and sampling or whatever. To the tune of about $300,000. So this would be us then going for a ban for $300,000, which would be replaced within a year by the grant. Any questions or concerns about that? I talked to Bob Smith, our bond counsel, and he says this is very typical. This is not a problem. You should go for it too. So any questions with what we're doing? Okay. So this was recommended by TMB. Bond counsel said it's the right thing to do. And EFC says we're on track to complete all the dot and I's and cross the T's for them to say, yeah, really, we're, providing the support. All right?
Did they give us any time?
EFC? No. But it's supposed to be within I'm going to say 46 days. All right. Now, that doesn't mean the money will start flowing right away. That's when they think they should have all that stuff together. Sir and I worked to fill out a lot of different forms, including one which is the top 10 employers in the village of Millbrook, which was an interesting exercise. Also, a lot of the stuff that you and Karen were able to put together using some analysis tools that they wanted to see what's the level of indebtedness of the village. And all those things would pass with flying colors, but just to go through the process was interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So we've done that stuff. So have they been in your ear for anything?
Not recently.
Okay, good. Because they are doing sizings and looking at the maps. I guess you provide some information.
Yeah, I've given them a bunch of information.
Right. And so they're chomping at the bit to start to get their investigation going from an engineering point of view. Why we're interested in this is because remember the sizing assumes that they can't use gravity, I want to say, as part of the process. And I'm hoping that they can find, if there's acceptable, whatever.
Well, they gotta basically drill in the ground, however many feet they want to go.
Right.
To see what the ground conditions are to determine if it's bedrock or if it's just sand gravel.
Pervious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which they need to get that moving because we are on a timetable based on the permit.
That's right, EPA.
They have a whole schedule.
Right. So if there's no problems with that, then I'll have Sarah start the process that we can review on next month. All right?
Yeah.
You do the same thing, go out and solicit bids? Okay, good. All right, good. It's all to say for the upgrade. All right, let's move on. The treasurer's report. By the way, how do you guys like the fact that we don't have copies of the charts to look at other than the agenda? Any problem with
I like paper.
that? Yeah. Right.
I like the paper storage. And look at it.
Okay. I'm not surprised. But in the 21st century, Mike. Okay, good.
Well, if you want us to specially print one, just let us know.
Okay, yeah, right. We can make a special Mike Curzon copy.
We will make a microsite.
All right.
Okay, so for building, it was quite busy in August. We issued 8 building permits, 5 certificate of compliances, 3 municipal searches, and we did get another short-term rental app. Total fees collected, $2,322.42.
All right.
Planning and zoning has been all over the place. A lot of things going on. So as far as I know, they have, well, Kay might be able to weigh in if there's anything incorrect, but so they're still dealing with 1618 Alden Place in Reardon Briggs. And then for the ZBA should be 12 Deneen. And I believe that's just for a deck. And then closing projects would be 92 Maple and 36 Nine Partners. And then we're working on a plan for a secretary for planning and zoning. And then we had 60 Front Street submitted an application for STR, and they were approved with their fire inspection.
Okay. That makes 4, I think, right?
That's 4 total, yeah.
So Trustee Jordan, we're able to close with Ken on just what the latest
Yeah.
is there?
Yeah. Can we do it now or?
Can you?
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that makes 6. So we had 6 applications.
Oh, is that right?
He had said 4.
We've only issued 4.
We've only issued 4. 4 more have gotten letters,
Oh, good. Okay.
additional letters, and then 2 more need to get letters. And then stage 2, as we discussed.
Did you say 4 letters went out or 2? How many letters went out?
4 went out.
Okay, good.
2 more need to go out.
Okay.
Peter, I'm sorry. What are the letters? Are they to say you're not in compliance?
Like, basically, if you're on Granicus, if you're active on these platforms.
And you haven't
And you
applied.
haven't. Yeah.
So it's like a warning.
Yeah, there was a first letter that was a warning, and I think that's I don't think we've gotten to stage 2. There's basically another warning. So we're at that stage.
Okay.
And then in terms of the other side of things, anybody that has accessory apartments, they haven't started to do any communication about that yet, but that's kind of next. On their
Right.
agenda.
That's the second phase. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
phase 2.
Okay, any questions for Peter on the SDR stacks? Good, thanks. I don't know if you all heard, but Alden Place, that's the one that the Moore's Kitchen, right? There was a big brouhaha. This weekend, only they had sent out something on Facebook and said, we're open. And someone on the planning board got wind of it. And correctly, the planning board said, this is not right, this is in violation, and we're going to shut you down. You're supposed to come to the planning board meeting on Monday. The planning board says no, because you're in violation, fix whatever's going on there. It turned out they claimed there was a misunderstanding. It's, depends on how you want to look at it. They put something on Facebook. It sure looked like they were saying they were open. They claimed they were just having a family meeting, but regardless, it was perceived very negatively by the planning board to do the right thing and said, you're in violation, cease all activity. And the neighbors were also not too happy about it either. So based on that, they'd asked, the applicant asked for an emergency meeting by the planning board. They said, no, come back in October, which I think was a good statement by the planning board. So I don't know if I heard about this. It was, a problem for those residents who live around there. And correctly, the planning board took, I think it was very appropriate action. Send a message that people just can't do this kind of stuff. I don't care if you have a problem with the language or if you can't use Facebook, or whatever, you're violating the process. So they were shut down. So I don't know if you want to hear more about that, but it was a.
Were they experienced restaurant shows or?
Yeah, but there's something about the guy who did it. It was a discombobulated story, and you can believe it or not, but the bottom line is they did wrong, and they're paying the price. And as far as the fact that the secretary resigned, I sent you all an email with the proposal that Ken is working on. I don't want to discuss it yet, but any questions or comments regarding that, or any feedback you want to give me? Okay.
I'll say Frank is doing the best job he can.
Frank
It's
Riddle,
a lot. It's a lot.
The chair of the planning board is doing a very good job.
It's a lot,
Doing
yeah.
that, plus being the secretary. And, he's getting help from Sarah as well, which is much
A
appreciated.
little bit, yeah. No,
And
it's
there's
great.
also something to refer to the ZBA. And I haven't talked to Mark yet about how that's going. Have you?
Ken called me and said that he talked to Mark, and I believe they either scheduled a meeting or planning to. And I think it's just like a preliminary meeting.
And I asked Ken to work with Mark since it's new for Mark. He's the new
Right.
chair, just to walk him through. He's the first one.
Right.
So, okay, good.
So they haven't met yet, the ZBA,
No,
for that 12th meeting? Okay, just on the docket, sort of. Gotcha.
yeah, village, we're talking village only, yeah.
Okay, just a point of information, the police from town CBA, just resigned.
You're kidding.
So we talk about a full master. It's full.
All right, maybe that's part of his vision, because he said to me, across the road, across the lawn, a week or so ago, he was looking to maybe retire soon. And that's his return to goal. Take over non-paying jobs for the village.
I went to a CAC meeting in the last 7 days, and that was the announcement. Brady had resigned, Frank Wells taking over
All right,
the ZBA for the town.
I didn't know that. That's very important. Okay. All right, anything else on planning and zoning? Okay, treasurer's report?
Treasurer, okay. So I would, so you see the bank balances. If you notice, Bennett Pump Station, we did get that grant, the DASNY money in. I wasn't sure what the bills situation was, so I didn't know if I should put any of that in your class or if they're starting to roll in.
Say again?
So we have some in your class
Yes.
now, right?
Right.
And we just got this grant, but I didn't know if I should put some of this into New York class just to build some interest, or if like all the bills are gonna come in and there's no point.
I expect the bills to come soon.
Because we have one that's in this
Right,
file.
majority paid, that's
Yeah.
why I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, right, so. I guess if it's hanging out for a little bit, I'll put it in New York class just
Yeah,
to,
fine. I think that everybody's not gonna be there that long.
yeah,
Okay. And then the plan will be, we'll convert the ban to a bond once we know how much is left.
Right. right.
And that'll occur next spring.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Okay, good.
And
I'll go
then,
back to that, you've taken the money out for the sidewalks, the sidewalk extension, Maple Avenue. Where's that to come from?
yeah,
I know the 18,000 for HNL trucks, we're having 8,000 for the conversion of the 75 streetlights is coming out of there, right?
I'm sorry, which one?
So the H&L Trust
Oh, yeah,
is now 18,000.
right.
8,000 is gonna come out of there for the LED light conversions.
Yep.
Right? So you've taken out all the tree,
Yep,
right?
yep. And sidewalk, yeah, there's only like $400 left
Yeah.
from the bills, so.
Where was the, okay, so that's the sidewalks in Franklin. Where'd the money come from to pay for the extension on Franklin Maple turnaround? That was a Tree Garden donation.
I
right?
believe it was Tribute Gardens, yeah. I think we did a budget adjustment or something in June.
Okay,
I'll look into it. I don't remember
All right.
exactly, but.
just make
yeah.
sure it doesn't come out of your budget, because that was a non-budget.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, fine.
I believe we did a budget adjustment for that, and
All right.
we moved the money.
All right, any questions about the bank balances?
And here's New York class. You know, thriving, doing well. New York
So
class,
the
so.
monthly yield is still above 5%.
Yep.
All right.
And so I mentioned we got the grants for DASNY,
Mhm.
as,
That's the 250,000 we got from state.
yeah, this was, our second submission.
Okay.
As Tim mentioned earlier, we were working on the wastewater treatment plant upgrade docks. I sent in the paperwork for that Newmont stock. I haven't heard anything yet. We were accepted by our local law for the moratorium, so we're good on that. Got the bank bids for the police car, and then it's really been community day, a lot of community day stuff.
Yep.
And then I didn't know if we were gonna work on the relay stuff for the town.
Okay, the story there is that I found out from the mayors of Pauling and Millerton that they have an agreement with their corresponding towns to levy the taxes of town residents outside their village who use village water or sewer. Yeah. This is a problem, we have a problem trying to get paid by people outside the village. And so I propose this to Garrison Ferry. What happens is the towns charge a fee to the villages for doing the service per incident. And the village just adds that fee to the bill that they levy the homeowner. So that's the plan. We would now do this going forward. And I just need to get Lois,
Yeah.
who's a bookkeeper for the town, to agree that here's the process we use. She's going to talk to her counterpart in Pauling, just to find out what they do.
Yeah,
Whether we need a resolution or not to make that happen.
yeah, I think we probably should.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You should, you're right.
But again, I know they're gearing up to start like their budget and stuff, so
That's true.
that's usually like,
Hectic time for her, I know.
yeah, with taxes and
I'll
stuff.
follow
So-
up with her and just make sure we get that process in place, so that henceforth we can take care of people outside the village who don't pay the water sewer bill. By
Yes.
levying their taxes.
And we did loop Dawn in too.
We do what?
We looped Dawn
Oh, you
in
were told
too.
Juan Don about it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a plan to address that problem, which has been in my call for,
So that'd be great if we could do that.
yeah.
So for taxes, we have only 14 parcels left to pay. We will be sending out our third reminder notice, probably end of September. And then November 1st, all the unpaids go to the county. So that's when the county will make us whole in March. And that, if we have that mechanism
Yeah, once you
anyway.
get it in place, so why not?
So I'll send another notice out, see
Okay,
if we can get anyone to pay, but
all right. I hadn't thought about that, sure. You know, the SBA is that standard can be applied to every sewer user.
yeah.
And so.
And the ones left have 2 years worth.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that motivates me to do this more. Okay.
so that's about all I have for,
Now, remember, about how long it took Bethany to send a check to you after you did the reimbursement?
it was probably about a month.
I think this is going fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
All right.
Well done.
Yeah, paper, I mean, it's nice that it's all one-stop shop so far that I've had to submit, so,
The packet of
Yeah.
stuff she has to put in is just.
yes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, but
They can get bogged down
Oh.
pretty easily with that agencies.
Well, actually, I think the first time we had some surprises, and I think those aren't ironed out now, so.
yeah, I think
Oh, that's right. That's
They
right.
didn't
That's
accept
the
it
actual
then.
location that's being installed.
so. I had,
Okay.
it's all right.
To bring this up, I sent you all an email from Frank Lettle, who requested the approval of the board to be able to hire a engineering firm as a consultant when Renia, who's the typical one that they use, is covering for the applicant. Now, Sarah, you saw, you said was that the costs incurred consultant is borne by the applicant. So there's no charge to the village by doing this. And it sounds like a good idea to have, an engineering firm that's different from the applicant do an assessment review of the plans. Now, what was your point here on this email that you sent me?
Basically, the planning board and the zoning board have the authority to hire. You guys are just you just assign appropriation for monies.
Okay.
So if they want to hire any experts or sector, they're well within their,
All right, so what do we need to do as a board? Do we need to approve the proposal or nothing?
no, they would do that
Okay, fine.
independently, yep.
So unless anyone on the board has a problem with it, I'll get back with Frank and say, yeah, we agree that's what you should do. Any problem with that?
Yeah, please do.
All right, so good, I'll do that. Okay, good. Anything else there?
That's all I have.
It's not unpaid water and sewer. Any movement from Josh?
Um,
You know,
no,
since last time?
no, we filed that, I don't know the legal term, but we filed, but, they did it, and we're waiting to hear back with responses. They filed with the court, so no response from the court, we got a response from the,
Should
should,
Yeah.
They have 30 days for
Yeah.
whenever.
okay. Just wanting the party, the other party to come forward and say, well, let's make a deal. All right. I think I told you in the email what we are as far as making a deal, which is.
Yeah.
I want full recovery. Okay, moving on. So we covered the public hearing on the litter. Trustee Doyle, any update on the RLD district?
Thank you.
Yeah, so I caught up with Ken today for a little bit. He's gonna be my sort of initial resource here. As you all remember, we have a development moratorium on the RLD district, which is a pretty wide district. Can you get to the village zoning map easily?
Yes.
I should have told you earlier, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
I think it's,
Oops. I can't go that way.
that's nice.
Spare me.
Okay, zoning map.
Oh, I did have more hair there. Oh, this was quick.
So if you look at the big green sort of quadrilateral or whatever, north of 44, where Diedrich's Lake is, and all those surrounding parcels that are east of Valley Farm Road, that's sort of the focus area of this moratorium. And Ken and I discussed two things. As you can see, there's one rather large parcel in that area, and then some other more larger residential parcels as well.
No, wait. So you're talking about the big green above 44, and
Yeah.
to the right of Valley Farm, which is that vertical white road.
Yeah.
So that area, and then you can see the Dietrich's Pond is the big part of that.
Correct.
See that?
Correct.
So where's the parcel? You can see a parcel within that area?
Well, just those.
Left-hand corner.
Yeah, it's like here. It's like a
Oh, I
wizard's
see
hat.
now. Yes, okay, all right.
So Ken and I talked about two different kind of ideas for this moratorium. The first being rural density. So as you can see in the bottom left, that is RU. That's rural density. Big,
Well,
big,
yeah,
Okay.
like
big,
here.
100. With a couple smaller ones as well. So applying a rural density to at least that part of the RLD, seemingly makes sense. So that's sort of one area that we're going to And then the other one is protecting the water. So there's a big lake in that area. It's also part of the village aquifer as identified in the MRI. So protecting, wetlands, streams, and bodies of water is an important kind of goal for us. And to do that, you have buffer zones. The buffer zones, so we're gonna be looking at the buffer zones, both in the RU district, the RLD district, and then maybe, looking at differing those for that area because there is significant water up there. And maybe I'm going to be talking to, hopefully kind of in an informal way, possibly a land use planning attorney, wetlands expert, and then maybe I can vendor here as well.
Good, okay.
So that's
So there's a buffer zone, so you say like.
you can't build within 300 feet
Of the lake.
or
Oh,
whatever
okay.
the number is.
Yeah, all right.
If you had thrown that number around,
Okay,
because that's what they have in the range sheets.
oh, okay.
The
I
one
like
we
that.
have in town in Washington is 100 feet.
Okay.
All right,
Okay? You have a 100-foot buffer zone, and that's what they use planning for the town of Washington.
so,
Do you think that's sufficient?
The wetland area.
so a buffer zone is a zone that's, you can't be built in, okay. Or what?
Or developed or anything.
Okay,
Developed.
all right.
And if you have a piece of property with a structure on it that predates the wetland, okay, then they're allowed to be able to build on that structure and keep it where it is. But if you remove the structure, it reverts back to the 100 feet, and there's not supposed to be any variance from that, but these still go to the zoning board of appeals all the time, and sometimes zoning board of appeals will ignore that and say, well, due to whatever kind of septic on the property or other things, then they'll sometimes give them relief and say, yes, you can do this, you can do that. That's 100 feet down the line.
Okay, good.
Just point of information, so you know.
So Peter, the part above 44, but did you want all of that isn't to the left where there are parcels demarcated, is that the Hitchcock estate?
It's privately owned homes on the Valley Farm.
Yeah, those
Road.
smaller,
Smaller.
shapes are other
Right.
parcels.
Yes.
But everything else.
That's
big
it.
Everything
part.
else is Hitchcock, but the idea right now, and it's very preliminary stages, and I know you know this, we can't just do any zoning changes that's focused on one particular parcel. It's lot zoning, it's illegal. So we're looking at everything east of Valley Farm. So yes, the big one, but also those other ones as well.
Right.
Leaving the west of Valley Farm in the RW district.
I see.
But again, very preliminary, just kind of
Okay, good.
bouncing around ideas.
Do you have, just for numbers, do you have any idea how many acres we're talking about on the Diedrich estate or within the area you're
It's
talking
about, that particular parcel is, I think, about 200.
200 acres. So if we reverted back to town of Washington zoning with it's 5 acre to 10 acre zoning in that limitation. Fred, is there, what limits do we have in the village now? Because so little property that we have, right? Totally clear is exactly what the amounts are that we can build on.
I think the RU district is, I believe it's 5.
Okay.
RLD is like.
Yeah, right, okay. Okay, well, you're saying what you're proposing would have 5 acre at the minimum. Okay.
So Sarah, did you go into the code to get this? Because right next to this is the table that answers the question.
This is its own web page.
Oh, is that right? Okay, fine.
The table is in code.
Yeah, right. Oh, so she didn't pull this off the code. This is,
No, this has its
I can
own-
pull the table if you want.
that's okay.
Are you sure?
Well,
Yeah,
I
well-
think we can look at that in a future.
Yeah, fine.
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
All right,
So that's just my preliminary,
that's
kind of work so far.
all right. And we're gonna wrap this up by February. Yes, the goal. All right. All right, let's move on. We covered e-bikes and scooters. Public comments, public, from the public. About anything regarding the village operation. No? Okay. Let's move on to board member updates. Deputy Mayor Murphy.
Just been working on interviews with you. Before we really got to know each other well.
We did, yeah.
We had 14 interviews for the highway super. We went over. Not much activity with the north side of the sidewalk project.
No. All right.
Harvey, we've reached out to him.
Well, we got the quote,
We got
just
a
waiting
quote.
for the go ahead from Dutchess County to submit a grant request for CDBG,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be it this year, so I'll keep,
Other than that,
any update on the village hall?
no.
As y'all remember,
It's kind of a situation there's you got a little bit of lead paint in the trim of the building. The stucco is cracking a little bit on the building, and unfortunately the water gets behind the cracks and freezes and expands the cracks a little bit. So it's not as simple as going in and scraping the old paint off and painting over, So we're trying to get the best ideas from other contractors and people who have more knowledge of this stuff than we do. For the village hall.
I'd like to contract a hold of, ask whether it would be possible to just power wash the latex off of the stucco and then paint the trim, the green trim. Would that be sufficient? Because latex is a core problem.
Yeah. Well,
Power wash it off, not damage the stucco, and if you do, will the stucco stay? As
and
is?
how long will the future be? Is this going to be a temporary fix that lasts a year,
Right,
or is
right.
this going to be something that holds up over the course of 2 years?
Right.
You know,
Now, the other problem is financially, for the meeting we had last, 2 weeks ago, I said at one time we had $40,000 of non-budget money available. That's now $14,000 because we spent $26,000 to cover the rest of the storm drain replacement, which what chips is available to us. So we don't have that much money in that.
exactly.
So let's go through the slide anyway.
Well,
just so we can have-
Either way, we should get as much possible information
Right.
as we can. That way, when we do finally get the money, or we feel like we're ready to start,
Yeah.
we know what we're doing.
Right.
We're using it.
I still want to do it. May not be in my lifetime, but I still want
Get a pretty.
to have it on the list anyway.
How's the Steffes? Just redid their,
I'm sorry?
how's the Steffes? Redid their stuff. It looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How
right.
they did it,
yeah.
but,
I can ask them.
yeah.
Oh, good idea. Okay.
I'm actually going to take a tour tomorrow.
I went through it. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
so I can ask
It's
them.
really nice.
How are you on a tour? What's that?
They asked me, they've been asking me for a while, like, come check it out. So
Is
I'm
that
like,
right?
"Oh." I'm like, so I'm like, yeah, how about
Nice
tomorrow?
guys.
So, yeah, no, they're really
Yeah,
nice.
really nice
really
guy.
like them.
They're really nice,
I'll
yeah.
wait till they have food.
Yeah.
True story.
Okay.
Oysters,
All right, trustee Herzog. Oh, my God.
Had a bunch of meetings, so.
Okay.
On August 22nd, Mayor Carlton and I walked the Phase 1 and Phase 2 stretch of Franklin Avenue with 2 representatives from State DOT, Tom Harvey from Renier, and the head of Sun Contracting, that rejected the entire stretch of Franklin Avenue, both reps from DOT making that that's a finished job with all requirements and state specifications, so we can close the work permit on Phase 1 and 2. Once they finish the paperwork and we get it, the village can then request the final payment of $20,000 from Dutchess County's grant fund, and that will close the south side. And
Right.
everything will go with it.
I'm sure I has it on a list of things to do, so whenever.
Did the village receive any kind of paperwork from state DOT saying that, the permit's closed? That's the Frank Hector.
I'm assuming Tom Harvey takes care of that. All we're waiting for is the cashing of the check from Sunup that we can then submit to Dutchess County.
Okay.
All right. And by the way, I wanted to say that the DOT guys were really pains in the butt, but I did appreciate when they were doing the inspection there were 3 cracks along the way that were bothering me, and that Eric, the CEO of Setup, was using the business card technique. Oh, it doesn't fit in there, so I don't have to seal it. The DOT said, no, seal it. And they were sealed. So I really appreciate DOT standing up for that.
Yeah, and they were very good about, they had notes throughout that said, this does not meet standard, but we understand that there's no way around you doing it any way differently, so just make that part of your notes. And they must have said that 12 different times.
Well, because every time you go from one page, it's a 1/4 inch is allowed for ADA requirements, and beyond that is,
So, so hopefully he took very good notes,
yeah.
because if we have the DOT ever come back in 10 years and say, they probably look at the whole thing and say, that's totally out of compliance.
In 10 years, it'll be moved, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay.
We're good.
Second thing, I attended a town CAC meeting on September 4th. They discussed a request from by CAC to get their funding line of $1,000 submitted and hopefully likely approved. I gave them a copy, showed them a copy, drinking water resources map, and get their own copy, and they'll pay for it themselves.
Okay.
Howard Schuman reported that John Parisi of the town of Washington Board of Appeals retired, and Frank Weber will take over as chairperson for that.
Okay.
And there's just one property discussed, and Shannon, you asked if the CAC would use the hourly information to recommend preservation of existing forested areas and storm protection for the aquifer recharge area.
Okay.
One question on the CAC. Sure. The town. Is it also the villages? Or no?
We don't have the village CAC. What we have is basically a, we're affiliated with the town of Washington, and that's how.
So I think that's the answer. We're covered under the town CAC. We don't have one of those.
Don't have any voting rights.
Yeah.
You just go and serve.
Yeah, and as a liaison, I just come back and report. And the only authority, if you want to call it, when the planning board looks at one of the 300 kind of a water body, stream, lake, pond, whatever is involved, then, that's part of us. So we do have some authority, but basically, it doesn't go very far. That's how it's going. September 9th, I chaired the Shade Tree Commission meeting, the latest one. The agenda items discussed included present and future positions on the Shade Tree Commission for 2025. Since I'm no longer going to be chairperson, as of December. A motion was made by me to change policy for tree removal from 25 feet from the center to 6 feet from the edge of the road, as prescribed by our lawyer, saying it should be in shade tree policy as opposed to a law. The change must be made to our bylaws to make that happen, so I have to consult with and see if there's any, the language we use and make sure it's fine.
So the bylaws are the document, right? The policies in the bylaws.
The policies and the bylaws of the shade tree.
Yeah. So it says the bylaws, which is a separate standalone document.
Right.
And you should be able to change that at the, consensus of the committee.
Right, exactly. The shade tree members want to review all the bylaws to see if there's any changes that need to be changed and improved, and new law.
Okay.
No current trees to inspect for removal, and possible fertilization plan was discussed. More research is needed. We set the next meeting for the Shade Tree Commission on November 14th at 10 o'clock in the village hall. And personally, what I'm working for the climate smart communities is working with the mayor on being able to file pledge elements that have been completed, that we feel have been completed for being able to then apply for bond solution. And there's a tremendous amount of paperwork involved in terms of writing up the implementation, making sure we qualify based on New York State for each pledge element, and then putting up the proper documentation, whether it be minutes, whether it be resolutions, whether it be photographs, reports, whatever it is. And I, at this point, have a head count of approximately 25 different pledge elements that I feel be satisfied, and as of this afternoon, up to 7 completed.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay, so I'm hoping by the end of, by no later than the middle of October, I'll be able to go in, and the mayor and I can start actually typing and filing and getting it done. So we can't apply for a bronze status until January, so we've got ample time to get it done, but it's.
Let's not assume it's ample time, okay?
Yeah, well,
These months are gonna go fast.
they'll go fast, but I'm just saying, well, first, I'm doing the best I can to get through.
All right, good.
How many elements do you need to have approved to get bond status?
You need 120 points, and each should carry a certain amount of points.
Are they different?
It varies, yeah.
So you get.
So we are going after the high point area.
We are giving ourselves a margin.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, but there'll just be a lot of things that we have to be able to go through. So I felt it was worth it to try to get that done before the end of the year, so that's done.
Okay, good.
Okay, and, no, the last thing, no, I checked on working with Genevieve, and, we can't get any volunteers to man the community day group for, like, chronic smoking.
No, I would like you to get a task force together. Let's
Yeah.
just see who's there and just take the leaves, the tree, and see how many active members we have.
Right,
I'd like to be there.
yes,
Okay, all right, good. All right, anything else?
that's it.
Okay, trustee Contino.
I really have nothing more. I'm glad litter and scooters and bikes are almost over, but I do want to say that let's call police policy committee marches on, and
Good point.
I think we're on a good schedule.
The chief should take credit for that, by the way, in your report,
Yeah.
because the chief turns out to be an expert in Lexington. And I'm worried that they're gonna offer a job, and he's gonna be gone to wherever they're at, Colorado or
This week,
something.
yeah, he actually made a suggestion to them
I know.
about
I know.
policies they should have,
Right,
and he wrote them up.
yes. It's going very well. But the chief is going through all the ones that we approved beforehand, just to make sure he's okay with what we approved. So it's kind of lighten the process, but also be good. So, I mean, I really hope we can try to finish it by this year, but let's do whatever we can, because that's one of the other things on the list. It's going very well. So thanks for the good work. Anything else?
That's it.
Trustee Dara?
I did reach out to Oval Tennis after we spoke.
Okay.
I sent them 2 pictures and the measurements, and they're gonna get back to me.
All right, good. Big cracks. Newly serviced tennis court. And so the question is, do we want to do anything this fall before the winter comes in? All right, so I appreciate you following up too. Anything else? We've already talked about the next coming meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
In a second. All those in favor? Thank you.
Quick question before we run away.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the,
Thank you.
Vouchers are signed.
I have this. Yeah.
and they had
Yeah,
two
that's for you.
They put down 3 removals for